The Jews have cracked the code to staying rich, and the crazy part about it is most of us have no idea how they do it. And no, the Jewish culture is not about secret handshakes or some ancient scroll that only a chosen few can read. It's something far more surprising, and trust me, it's the last thing you'd expect. Now, wait a second. Before your imagination runs wild with movie-like plots of rabbis pulling off an Ocean's 11-style heist, let's set the record straight. It's a centuries-old system of habits, values, and strategies that have quietly turned generations of Jews into some of the most financially savvy people on the planet. And here's the kicker. You don't even have to be Jewish to use these principles. So, what's the truth? What I'm about to share with you could completely change how you think about wealth, success, and even life itself. So without wasting any time at all, let's dive in. The first thing I want to start with is the mentality of the Jews, because it is the foundation of everything I explain in this video. Picture this. It's 1952. A young Jewish immigrant named David is working in his uncle's bakery in New York. While most people are just trying to make ends meet, David's uncle pulls him aside and says, "Always save 10% of what you earn, even if it's $1, and don't spend it on shiny things. Invest it in something that grows." Fast forward 30 years, and David owns a chain of bakeries. What was his secret? It wasn't luck. It was a mindset passed down through generations, a mindset rooted in values that we're about to unpack. Now, before I reveal exactly how you can model this mentality in your own life, let me explain what the Jews resemble in 5 easy-to-follow steps, so stay with me here. Number 1, community over competition. Here's the thing about Jewish culture, it's all about the squad. Think about it. While many of us are busy trying to outdo each other, Jewish communities have mastered the art of lifting each other up. They've built networks, literal ecosystems, where resources, knowledge, and opportunities are shared. Let me first explain the concept, and then we'll move on to the practical steps for you to take. Take the concept of the Gemash, short for Gemilut Chasadim, or acts of kindness. These are community-based lending organizations where you can borrow everything from wedding dresses to seed money for your first business. No interest, just trust. Imagine if your neighborhood had one of those. For example, look at companies like Goldman Sachs, founded by Marcus Goldman, or the Warner Brothers. These weren't solo acts. They were built on the backs of strong community ties and mutual support. This was the first reason why Jews have stayed rich throughout the years. But I'm just getting started. Pay attention. What I'm about to share next is something the Jewish culture has embodied through generations that have given them immense wealth beyond their years. Just make sure to subscribe to the channel. Number 2, teach them young. Here's a wild fact. Many Jewish kids learn about money before they learn how to ride a bike. It's not about the money itself, it's about understanding how it works. There's even a Hebrew phrase for it, tikkun olam, or repairing the world. To repair the world, you've got to first master your own finances. By the way, since we're talking about this topic, I want to share something very important that I've wanted to say for a while. Jewish families often discuss saving, investing, and budgeting at the dinner table. Compare that to most of us who only hear about money when someone's yelling. We can't afford that. It's like being handed a financial cheat code early in life. Imagine a 10-year-old explaining compound interest to their parents like, "Mom, your latte habit is costing us a fortune in opportunity cost." Here's something I need you to realize. Watching this video alone is not enough. If you've been following our videos on financial literacy and building wealth, you'll know that following the Jewish culture is just one of many ways to achieve financial freedom. Make sure to watch our entire playlist to get the full rundown, and as always, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Number 3, work hard, rest harder. Now, this might surprise you. One of the secrets to Jewish success is actually not working. Well, at least one day a week. The Sabbath, or Shabbat, is a day of complete rest. No emails, no meetings, no hustling. Sounds counterproductive, right? Wrong. Now, just by watching our videos on building wealth silently, you've probably heard me say this before. But this enforced day of rest creates a mental reset, allowing people to recharge, think strategically, and come back even stronger. It's like hitting the pause button on a video game to plan your next move. Meanwhile, the rest of us are grinding 24/7 and wondering why we're burned out. But let's break this down even more. Shabbat isn't just about kicking back with your feet up. It's a sacred ritual, a moment to focus on family, faith, and reflection. And you know what happens when you take a step back from the hustle? You get clarity. You can actually see the forest instead of just the trees. This concept has more details, and we'll dive deeper into it in upcoming videos in the Financial Freedom series. So stay tuned. Anyways, imagine this. Your boss calls you on a Friday night and says, "I need that report ASAP." Now imagine responding, "Sorry, it's Shabbat," and turning your phone off. The look of their face? Priceless. But in all seriousness, this intentional unplugging isn't laziness. It's strategy. In fact, research shows that companies adopting a 4-day workweek see an increase in productivity. If a day of rest can make businesses more efficient, imagine what it can do for your personal hustle. Maybe it's time we all took a page out of the Shabbat playbook, whether you're religious or not. Now that we've covered the importance of rest, let's get back to the most important part of this video. Number 4, knowledge is wealth. If there's one thing Jewish culture values above all else, it's education. But we're not just talking about formal schooling. This is about lifelong learning, a hunger for knowledge that goes beyond diplomas. Let's get nerdy for a second. Jewish tradition places immense value on studying the Torah and the Talmud, not just as religious texts, but as a way to sharpen critical thinking. These texts are basically ancient group chats filled with debates, arguments, and deep dives into complex topics. They teach you how to think, not just what to think. And that skill, it's priceless. Imagine if every time you asked a question, your family broke out into a spirited debate that lasted hours. That's dinner in a traditional Jewish household. Why do we need savings? Boom! 2-hour discussion on inflation, compound interest, and Roth IRAs. But it's not just about religious texts. Modern Jewish families often encourage academic and entrepreneurial pursuits. It's why you'll see so many Jewish doctors, lawyers, scientists, and yes, billionaires. They don't just consume knowledge, they apply it to solve real-world problems. It has been proven time and again, and even studies show that regular rest periods actually improve productivity. Maybe it's time we all took a Shabbat. Think of someone like Sergey Brin, co-founder of Google. His family's emphasis on education and intellectual curiosity paved the way for one of the biggest tech empires in history. And the best part? You don't need to be Jewish to embrace this mindset. Get curious. Start reading. Take that online course you've been eyeing. Knowledge truly is wealth, and it's the kind of wealth no one can take away from you. Number 5, the Sedaka Effect. Here's a twist you didn't see coming. One of the biggest secrets to staying rich is giving money away. In Jewish culture, Sedaka is the practice of charitable giving. But it's not just about writing a check and calling it a day. It's intentional, impactful, and often tied to community building. The principle is simple. When you give, you receive. Not in a transactional way, but in how giving transforms communities and creates opportunities. Think of it like planting seeds. Sure, you're giving away some of your harvest, but what grows in return? Forests. It's hard to explain this in detail, but what I want you to do is this. Imagine you're at a coffee shop, and the person in front of you buys your drink. That small act of kindness changes your mood for the entire day. Now scale that up to funding scholarships, supporting small businesses, or even just helping a friend start their dream project. That's the ripple effect of Sedaka. If you want me to create a video about this topic in detail, please let me know in the comments so I can see if there's interest. But I wanted to share an example you might be able to relate to. Take philanthropists like George Soros. While controversial, his charitable contributions have funded countless educational and economic initiatives. The philosophy: when you uplift others, you create a ripple effect of prosperity. For a long time, I've wanted to discuss this topic, and I think now is the right time. Stop focusing on the stereotypes. People often get caught up in stereotypes or assume there's a secret formula exclusive to Jewish communities, which leads to overlooking the practical habits and values at the core of their success. Listen carefully. I'll give you a golden piece of advice. Focus on the tangible principles: education, community support, disciplined financial habits, and giving back. These are universal values anyone can adopt. By the way, the ability to shift your mindset is something that can improve many areas in your life. Instead of searching for secrets, study their practices. Financial literacy, investing early, focus on education, building strong networks. Start by reading books on these topics. For example, The Richest Man in Babylon or Smart Money, Smart Kids. So what's the takeaway here? Is there some ancient secret vault of Jewish wealth tips? Nope. It's about values, mindset, and practices that anyone can adopt. Build a community, teach financial literacy, prioritize rest, invest in education, and give back. Simple, right? But hey, let's not forget the most important lesson of all. Wealth isn't just about money. It's about living a life filled with purpose, connection, and most importantly, a little bit of humor. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, but realize that financial freedom involves more than just modeling Jewish traditions. Yeah, it's good to start there, but there's a specific set of habits that millionaires do in private that no one even talks about. We cover every last one of these habits in our recent video. Just click the video on the screen now and we'll see you in the next one.